Hey everyone, before the video starts, I thought I'd let you all know for the next 2 weeks, all my merchandise will be 20% off if you enter the code FEAR over on my fan fiber shop. So be sure to grab a shirt while you can, and if you buy one, and you totally should, be sure to send me a picture over Instagram or Twitter to get featured in my upcoming animations. Alright, cue the intro! From simple arguments to full-on epic battles, we count down our top 5 stories submitted by you guys on your craziest school fights. My name is the Fear Raiser, and welcome to Raiserverse, the show where we bring your stories to life. Before we get into the animation, I'd like to quickly remind you, if you want your story to be potentially animated for the next episode, to be sure to submit them to our subreddit page, Raiserverse, or by email, all links down in the description below. Also be sure to like and subscribe to be on top of the latest videos. By the way, when you subscribe, be sure to hit the bell button so that you always receive updates on when we upload. And without further ado, let's get right into it.
This next story is titled My First Fight Experience by Stephen Gray. So, I'm currently 18. This happened back in the 5th grade. I was sitting in class, we all had just came in from recess, and we were just chilling, talking, and eating our lunch. My friend at the time, we'll just call him Phil, was sitting 2 seats in front of me, and he had made a stupid joke. No harm was done, really. He talked to me from where he was sitting, and he said something about this one kid in our class. We'll call him Zach. Zach is one of those types of guys that is always rude like that one bully kid. So the next lunch, some other kid, I guess a friend of Zach's, goes to him, then proceeds to tell him of whatever, right? So Zach gets up from his seat and points a finger at my friend and starts saying the stuff. You know, like, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, right, whatever. So me, Phil, and the rest of the class were listening to Zach basically call us out. I had enough of it. I got up from my seat with rage and proceeded to give him a solid punch to the face. He then retaliated with a kick to my gut. That obviously hurt, but I came back with him with 2 more punches that landed. Long story short, we both got suspended, with him getting suspended longer than me, and yeah, he never gave us a hard time again.
At number 4, we have a story titled My Sister and Her Psychotic Mind by Video Game Girl 63. So, I'm a middle child. I have a big brother and a little sister. My brother is autistic, so I don't know if she got this from watching him or she just has her own mental condition. Anyways, one day when I was about 7 or 6 years old, I was in England visiting my grandmother. She was making dinner and I was helping out my brother sit at the table, along with pulling out the couch bed because my dad told me to when I was just a little weakling. Back then, I was sure he thought I was a boy, but that's a story for another time. My sister had this great idea to go into the kitchen, get a knife, and chase me around with it. Now, the counters were high, but we were all tall for our age. Like I was at my mom's upper torso or something below that, so her head could touch the counter. She took the knife from behind her back and came running at me with it, and I started running around every inch I could to get away. The adults did nothing until I started running around my dad, and then she was stopped by him. She was given a talking to, and the knife, of course, was taken away from her. This ended up growing into a habit of her threatening me with a knife. This doesn't happen often, but the most recent one was when my friend was over and I was talking to her in the backyard. I just threw a water balloon at her. Nothing else.
Our third story is titled The Time Everybody Attacked Me by The Questionable. So when I was in school, it was somewhere along, let's say, 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and everyone was starting to feel hungry. Now, the thing is, our school did not allow us to buy snacks outside the school grounds, and at the time, the canteen wasn't open. So we decided, hey, why not order some food? We ordered food from a nearby fast food chain, and we got all our money ready, and nothing. Absolutely nothing. We never got the food. So we were all hungry, no food or snacks since the morning. Now, I didn't know, but it turns out my mom packed my lunch and hid it in my bag. Normally we have our books at our desk, so I didn't know I had packed lunch. But when I found it, I knew I was gonna get scrambled on, so I ran into the bathroom and ate it there. It was mostly leftovers of roast chicken, but it was good. Unfortunately though, this didn't end well for me. One of my classmates saw me eating, and so I booked it down the hall. Then my classmate screamed, "Paul has lunch with roasted chicken!" Everybody ran and attacked me down the hall like a horde of zombies, but at least I ate 3 bits of chicken. After that, my lunchbox was desolated.
Our second story is titled Enemy to Cousins by Chocolate Kinamachi. So this was at least in 3rd grade. I got into a fight with this boy, let's call him Max. Some said our fight was unfair because I was a weak girl, but I actually won our first fight. Me and him have been enemies ever since and fought almost every day. But one awful day, I told my granddad his name and that we had a fight. My gramp said, "Oh really? Well, you shouldn't fight family." I asked him what he meant and he told me that we were related. I was shocked to find out, and I knew if I told Max we were cousins, we would stop being enemies. Fortunately for me, I was the one who had to tell him we were cousins, so I didn't tell him. From that day, we've still been enemies.
And our last story is titled The Time Bullies Poured Creek Water Over My Head by Luna Astra.
So, when I was very little, I always got bullied. People called me things like Ebola, cancer, cringe, and annoying. I started getting bullied in 1st grade, but 5th grade was the worst. In April, I was almost done with 5th grade, so me and my 4th grade friends went out to the creek. But we weren't alone. So there were 2 girls and 1 boy. The boy called us names while one of the girls dumped creek water all over my head. I went home and told my dad. He told me to never go to the creek again. I had to take a bath that night, and since I have anger issues, I still want to punch them after all this time.
Well guys, once again, thank you all for submitting your stories, and if you haven't already, be sure to do it on our subreddit page and email. Special thanks to the animators for making this video possible, and again, don't forget to follow me on social media at the Fear Racer on Twitter and TFR Jordan over Instagram, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel to always be on top of the latest videos.